It's Biden voters. Do all Biden voters think the same?
I'm more anti-Trump than pro-Biden. Piper?
Strongly agree.
As much as I like absolutely hate Trump, there has to be like especially young people, like there needs to be that energy there for Biden. Like I know settle for Biden is huge. Like, well, we'll take him because there's two choices. No, this is like literally a choice between like destruction of the environment and our futures or building towards better progress. We have.
Wait, so you can't say you somewhat disagree and then follow through on why you actually do think you're settling for Biden. You somewhat disagree with the notion that you're more anti-Trump than pro-Biden. And then the reason why you're pro-Biden is because you're anti-Trump. So that means that you do agree with everyone else then.
Have to be more enthusiastic and we have to bring other people along because otherwise, like, we're not going to win.
Definitely agree with what you just said, Benjamin.
Dude, I love liberal student org kids. First of all, they're all angling for a job in the establishment. By the way, there's a likelihood that a lot of these dudes might be, and a lot of these people might even follow me. So apologies ahead of time if I'm going to make fun of you here, or if you're seeing it in the YouTube video and one of your friends told you that like I'm making fun of you. But like, don't be that person. Don't be the person who's like very clearly angling for an establishment Democrat position when you're sitting on top of like a Democratic student organization. And not only that, but it's so typical of Democrats to be like, oh yeah, instead of changing our messaging, let's just fake enthusiasm so other people will be enthusiastic alongside us is one of the worst ways of campaigning. I've never really heard a worse way of campaigning. Instead of faking enthusiasm as you just did while simultaneously admitting that you're literally voting for Biden because you're anti-Trump, why don't you just, I don't know, make sure that we advocate so that the Democratic Party does a better job at capturing people's attention, especially the youth vote.
Hillary Clinton was like a very hated woman. Like a lot of people just don't like her. Like I have my reasons for not liking her as well. And her whole campaign was just like, beat Trump, beat Trump, beat Trump. And a lot of people, that wasn't enough for them to get excited behind. And so you kind of made me like rethink it a little bit. But I think also though, we can't get too excited about him now because we have to still make sure that there's room for criticism so we can hold him accountable once he actually gets elected.
Joe Biden is too old to be president. Piper?
Somewhat disagree.
Let's say like...
I would even agree with that for Bernie. I'd be like, yeah, Bernie is too old to be president. Absolutely. And Bernie was with it, unlike Joe Biden. Why would you not admit that? I don't understand why people, I mean, I guess this is good. I guess that like you need this kind of blind loyalty to win elections. And, you know, Trump certainly takes advantage of it. So
his age kind of also fits with his, like, his demeanor.
Oh God. Okay. I can tell Benjamin for the rest of this video, Benjamin is going to try to like, he's going to try to find different ways of convincing himself that like, no, I'm enthusiastically voting for Biden. Actually, this is great.
Or like his appeal. He is more like a grandfather figure of the like entire party. That age comes with a lot of experience. And like, I think right now we need to return to some.
We're 5 minutes in and Benjamin is already running out of copium. Okay. He is going to need more copium stat.
Some sort of normalcy.
I also really hate when people pick at his stutter that he's had for like his whole life that is incredibly ableist. Yeah, the candidate that I was supporting was older than him and, you know, Trump's old, so.
Oh my God, this is our future. God damn it. Holy shit. I really hope that you guys aren't like this. I mean, look, all of these people are allies. All of these people, every single one of these people are good, well-intentioned people. I don't know about Benjamin. Benjamin, like I said, I mean, he's very attractive, but also at the same time, I feel like he's a little bit angling for a position. And I've seen too many operators like that. You know what I mean? Like the Alex Morse scandal is what comes to mind. Come on, bro. I think the ageist position is valid. Are you guys serious? No, dude. When you're fucking 77 and very clearly not able to, or Joe Biden is 75, Bernie's 77. I think Bernie is too fucking old to be president, but he's the best we got. In that circumstance, Bernie's advocacy and his platform and the fact that he demonstrated that he was capable of going all around the fucking country nonstop and campaigning every single goddamn day. In that circumstance, I'm fine. Like, he showed me that he's with it. So you want age restriction in government positions? I think that'd be pretty poggers, honestly. If you're over the age of 80, you're done. You're out. Sorry. I think if you're 2 years over the average life expectancy, you're no longer allowed to be in office. Yeah, you have to be over 35. Why can't you be under 75? Well, you don't have to be over 35 for certain positions. You're just talking about the president.
I believe abortion is a human right. Piper?
Strongly agree.
I feel like there's a separation of church and state, and people just keep forgetting that. I don't know why. And then also, I don't think anyone likes abortion, and that choice is one that is
okay. Never mind. Watching these kids say this gives me a little bit of hope, though. Regardless, it makes me feel happy. It makes me feel all warm and tingly on the inside, regardless.
It's incredibly traumatic and hard for, I'm sure, a lot of people. And I just really don't like when people are like, well, no abortions, no sex education, no free contraception, no nothing. And it's like, there's so many other things that would actually help decrease the amount of abortions that are had if we could get better sex education in school, easier access to contraception and healthcare.
The word abortion is not in the Bible, step one. Step two, I'm not having an abortion. Like, I would never do that if I'm in a situation and that's what I believe, but that's not my job to enforce that on other people. And going back to what you said, Leah, like sex education, or why not putting forth some type.
I wish that was everyone's position. Like, I don't understand why, like, people are like, I'm not going to get an abortion, but like, also you can't get one either. It's such a fucking psycho take. Just say, I'm not going to get an abortion. It's my personal choice. I believe that in the sanctity of life, and I believe that, like, I believe it's a life, but I don't think the government should regulate it. Like, it's literally a medical procedure. You unironically can't be like, you know what? My religion believes that, like, you know, you can't get fucking insulin. Not only will I stop myself when I have diabetes from getting fucking insulin shots, I'm going to stop you from getting insulin shots when you have diabetes. No insulin for you.
So you want me to have the baby, but you're not going to give me anything to support it. You're not going to improve minimum wage, and you're not going to do anything in my neighborhood to make this safe for my child. So what's next?
I don't believe that life starts at conception. I do not believe that constitutionally it makes sense for a fully grown woman to be constitutionally on the same level as a cluster of cells, and that they should give out, like, they should have to, like, sacrifice, like, the right to their bodily autonomy. The second thing is also, I kind of compare it to, like, prostitution.
To the people who get mad, by the way, who get mad at this and say, like, oh, fuck you, like, it's not self-defense, you can't use that for the fetus as a child. It's like, no, it is literally bodily autonomy. Every single time you force a human being to do something that they don't want to do, you are taking away their bodily autonomy. And that's how laws work. That's technically the basis of every fucking law. Obviously. It's obviously how this works, but you can't do that for women who don't want to carry a pregnancy to term, especially because women that don't want to carry a pregnancy to term can have an abortion on their own, in a back alley abortion. And that is what happens, by the way.
Joe Biden has a racist past. Piper.
I said agree.
Leah.
Somewhat disagree.
Pranav.
Somewhat disagree.
Benjamin.
Somewhat disagree.
How?
Chris.
Somewhat disagree.
Christine.
Somewhat disagree.
I think this just goes back to, like,
dude, oh my god, dude. Oh my god, the future is so fucking broken. We are, oh, this is giving me fucking black pill. This is just shoving the black pill. I know that every single person, despite me voting for Joe Biden in this election, literally all of these people are going to be fucking against me. Like, I know that. The next administration, if it's a Joe Biden administration, is 100% going to be a sea of people like that yelling at me because they think I'm anti-Democratic Party. They think I'm against them. They think I'm secretly a Republican. As I yell over and over again about how, remember when you fucking said originally that we were supposed to push Joe Biden to the left and we were capable of pushing Joe Biden to the left when you voted for him? Turns out you forgot about that real quick.
I think this just goes back to, like, what do we define as racism? But just looking at his policies, which are kind of the only thing we can go off of, like the 1994 crime bill, like, it almost exclusively targeted Black Americans. I know, like, he also, in the Obama administration, they had a lot of mass deportations, war crimes in the Middle East, and all these things put together. Like, I can't determine, like, his individual, like, opinions, but all I can go off of is his policies, and he just has a pretty racist history.
You can't say it's going to be a racial jungle if black kids can go to school with white kids, oppose busing, calling it forced busing, a term that Lee Atwater, a term that Ronald Reagan's strategist, campaign strategist Lee Atwater literally said was the version of the N-word. Now, you can say that Joe Biden has changed since then. And, like, do I think that Joe Biden is going to legislate? Like, do I think that he's, like, secretly a Klans member and he's going to, you know, unleash the beast when he's in the presidency and his administration is going to be horrifically racist? No, I don't think that. Do I think that Joe Biden's administration is going to be more racist than the Trump administration? No, I don't think that. Obviously not. But to say that the question here is Joe Biden has a racist past, and Joe Biden inevitably does have a racist past. If you don't think that Joe Biden has a racist past, then no one has a racist past. Like, who is a racist then? Just people who said the N-word in public? So why are you voting for someone that's racist? I am doing exactly what every fucking person of color in America does. The mental calculus that they engage in. What about all the fucking Hispanic people that are voting for Joe Biden? You think they're not upset that some of their uncles or fucking aunts or other people in their families might have gotten yeeted out of the country under the Obama administration? They know that. They can't do anything else. There's nothing. There's only two fucking options here.
He has
to do more research on Joe Biden, dude. Just bad take after bad take. I have an entire video talking about how you should not vote for Joe Biden. You can go check that out on my YouTube if you want. This was, of course, in the primaries. I did end up voting for Joe Biden. So go watch that video to understand the entirety of Joe Biden's track record. Even then, it's not the entirety of the Joe Biden's track record, but still.
A history of not making choices that were the most equitable. But I also think some of those choices were a result of like the cultural zeitgeist at the time. And I don't think that Joe Biden necessarily should be held to account for like the worst parts of that legislation, because I don't think that the legislation was passed definitively in the interest of putting more black people in jail. That's what it did because of the way.
Again, wrong. Horrible take. Wrong take. Okay, you know what? Guess what? I'm just going to show you this video instead of talking anymore. This dude, Chris, straight simping right now, or what do you call it, said that the crime bill was not supposed to target specifically the black population. No one knows what actual systemic racism is. Why are the libs in this video so dense? Yeah, this is why we fucking not only lose, but this is why we concede.
It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not
my man said, fuck the socioeconomic conditions in which crime manifests in certain communities as a consequence of systemic racism. What we need to do is lock them up because they are predators. I cannot find where his stutter is, too. I'm looking for it, but it doesn't seem to be there. Also, his hairline has improved dramatically over the years. I wonder what happened there, but that's a totally separate point.
They had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now.
Congrats on helping Trump win the election just to smooth your ego. I mean, if you're that fucking dumb that, like, at a time when we already have record high fucking early voting numbers with the youth coming out and fucking voting, with me already advocating 4 months at this point to go out and fucking vote for Joe Biden if you want to. If you think that me showing this video, a video that is truthful still, ultimately, that's going to actually destroy Joe Biden's chances, then you're a fucking moron, okay?
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
Do you believe people can't change even after 15 years? Many things change for the better over the years. Guys, I already started this conversation by talking about, 1, I voted for Joe Biden. 2, I said that Joe Biden is not going to run an administration that's going to, like, magically fucking be like, just kidding, we just had the Klan robes, time to fucking lock up every black person. Very clearly, that's not my take. That's why I started off the conversation by saying that. But the question here isn't, is Biden racist? Which I still think Biden is definitely like old white guy racist for sure. The question is, was Biden racist in his past, or does Biden have a racist past? And the answer is, abso-fucking-lutely he does. And if you cannot see that, then this project is broken. Like, there is no better future because you have already conceded. Vote for Biden, yes, but also never release the pressure. Old professional managerial class liberals that love to watch SNL can vote for Biden for a return to normalcy so they can get back to fucking consuming brunch. You can't. If you are under the age of 35, you can't afford to fucking say we need to return to normalcy. Okay? It's your future. You understand? So shut the fuck up and be honest. And don't try to fucking delude yourself into thinking that the Joe Biden administration can be anything but marginal incremental change, maybe for the better. Because this attitude implies that you're done. Once he's voted in, it's over. That's why I loved Bernie, by the way. Because what the fuck did Bernie say? Always. It's not just about getting me into office. It's about pushing an agenda. Our work begins on November 3rd. Our work does not end on November 3rd. And a lot of you, especially liberals, just vote so they can get it off their consciousness. Just get it off their mind. If my mom says she hates me but does loving things, is she still a good mom? Bad take. If you represent your logic symbolically, there's a clear contradiction. It's still bad take, but I get where you're coming from. Wait, what? What are you saying, dude? If your mom beat the fuck out of you, but then says she's beating the fuck out of you for your own development, okay, and then fucks your brain up by abusing the shit out of you physically for fucking years, but then says she loves you 15 years later, do you think your mom actually loves you? Or do you think your mom is abusive as fuck? It doesn't matter what Joe Biden said. The only reason why I use his words is because some of you are diametrically opposed to looking at legislative consequences. His justification is racist, but that's not what I care about ultimately. What I care about ultimately is the very foreseeable consequences of the crime bill in locking up black and brown men. One out of every 5 African-American child has a parent that's incarcerated. Why do you think that happened? It's a combination of the war on drugs, the racially charged, racist war on drugs, admittedly racist war on drugs, which the Republican Party fucking apologized for, combined with America's draconian understanding of crime and punishment. Two aspects that Joe Biden personally has been a big part of, played a fundamental role in, as he literally wrote legislation that seemed too over-encompassing for Ronald fucking Reagan. And the legislation that he wrote in regards to his efforts to lock up black men and brown men, he wrote with Strom motherfucking Thurmond. Segregationist Strom motherfucking Thurmond. So if you tell me that Joe Biden is not a racist or never had a racist past, then no one is racist. And you are no different than the Republicans who fucking cope with this shit.
Police departments should be defunded.
So I say somewhat disagree because like in Houston, I'm a part of like the Mayor Student Leadership Alliance. And something we've talked about is that he doesn't feel like the police should be defunded, but he feels like the money that's in the police system right now should go towards bringing other people into the system to actually handle the issues that police are getting called for that have nothing to do with police, right? Homelessness.
So defund the police and refund social services. Okay, got it. So you somewhat disagree with that take, but then you agree with it. It's so strange. By the way, looking at the Trump video and then looking at this video, liberals are kind of a monolith a little bit. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, every single issue that they're on, they're like almost all on board with the same shit.
Mental health issues. And so like when I did a lot of like research and looking at what other Democratic candidates feel like, a lot of those people don't feel like there needs to be a defunding of the police, but more so a reform of the police structure and how they facilitate the issues. So I don't think that defunding the police will lead to better policing.
I think for me, after the aftermath of Ferguson, like which impacted my hometown, I just started having some questions like, why do they need tanks? Why do they need these grenades? Why are they at war with us? And that, to me,
that's like the easiest take too. It's 100% true, and it's like it's one that most people understand and most people agree with.
Just maybe take a step back with some of the equipment and resources that they have from the military. And Christine, I 100% agree, and I think when I support defunding the police, I support dismantling the police, which is very different from abolishing the police, even though people like to spin it as that.
I think defund the police like has such a bad connotation to it because it does sound like this abrupt, like take away all their money, but you can't fit a whole public policy plan into one slogan. And I think some of the like top like brains in policy writing that support defunding the police don't support just taking away all their funding and doing nothing with it. And I think honestly, if you reallocate the funds well enough, we won't even need police at all eventually. Because why do police exist? Because people are committing crimes. Why does crime exist? Because of poverty, because of, you know, all these other reasons. So I think obviously not all at once, but like if we gradually reallocate those funds into other resources, we could get rid of a lot of the things that even require the need for police and maybe still have some law enforcement that exists, but it will not be as big of a thing as it is now.
I am open to conservative ideas.
Oh no. Oh
Piper,
no.
Somewhat disagree.
Leah,
Agree.
Pranav,
No!
Somewhat agree.
Benjamin,
No!
Agree.
Chris,
Somewhat disagree.
No, strongly disagree. Say it with your fucking chest. No, this is wrong, dude. This is fucking wrong, dude. No.
Christine.
Strongly agree.
Oh God.
There are some conservative ideals that I do respect, right? Like I think that a lot of what this boils down to is not.
Motherfucker said in my chat, what about family values? Oh, really? So you're telling me, like, for example, the conservatives that are advocating to rip fucking babies apart from their parents that have lost 545 immigrant children, that's the party of family values? Can you explain to me how conservatives are a part of the family values? Unless you think, like, I don't know, fucking your cousin in whatever bumfuck part that you live in is a part of family values. Where is the family values in discontinuing members of the LGBT community from adopting children? You think that's fucking family values, dude? Suck my fucking dick. Conservatives, their family values. No, I won't allow a conservative to suck my dick, actually. I want to mention that.
Buy them back. And I'm like, okay, so we didn't prohibit this before. Some people spent X amount of dollars on this assault rifle, and you're not at least going to buy it back from them. Another thing I think about is like the social welfare programs, right? Do I think more people should be eligible for it? Yes. Is there any measure on a lot of these programs that get people off of the system integrated back into the workforce? No. So you have people who specifically take advantage of the system and specifically take advantage of.
Yo, that sucks, dude. That's like such a bad fucking take, dude. Come on. Like, oh, the fucking lazy welfare queen take? Really? That sucks when people believe that shit.
I think for me, there can be like a lot of unlikely allies, but I think it depends on what the outcome is of that conservative thinking, like whether or not I might be opening to listening to it. So like if they're like, okay, I really want to stimulate the economy, we need more jobs. And then the how is through green jobs and green infrastructure. Like that's something that could definitely have bipartisan support.
No, but that has nothing to do with conservatism. I get trying to bridge a gap between conservatives and liberals in that way. And certainly when it comes to the actual voters, yes, you absolutely should advocate for the Green New Deal as a jobs program because it is a jobs program. But that shouldn't come with the underlying assumption of like a jobs program is something that's inherently conservative, when it's clearly not. Unless you also think the New Deal was a conservative deal. Any jobs program by the government is inherently not a conservative jobs program. As always, I'll end it on this note, okay? At least, like, they're a little diluted, but at least they're not bad people, or they're not advocating for, like, bad things. Watch this. It's WAP female empowerment. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? I don't know if I want to watch this. Do you think if Biden wins, Trump will pardon his family and himself for all federal crimes? Yes.